Hello again. Today is June 5th, and it's day -3 from the bone marrow transplant. And I'm coming to you a little bit later than I have been. They kind of tricked me last night. I was so used to getting that, what was that Bolts, what was that stuff I was getting? The chemo. The Bolsafan. They would do that every night at midnight until 3. And they did that for 4 days. Well, 4 days was over, and I figured, okay, well, now they're going to do the other one, the fun one, the cyclophosphamide, at the same time. And they didn't. They decided to do it differently. They did it at 11 o'clock today, 11 o'clock in the morning. And I guess they'll do the second one 11 o'clock tomorrow morning. So it kind of threw everything off for me. The day went. Initially, what really threw the day off was I got up, felt good as usual. It said a little bit upset of the stomach though. And I saw the nurse when they were doing shift change. I said, hey, you know what? Can I get one of those anti-vomiting pills? You know, I feel like I got an upset stomach. Yeah, sure, we'll bring it by. So they bring it by, give it to me. 5 minutes later, I puke it up in a trash can. So I felt a little pukey this morning. I did have breakfast, but I had to wait a little while to have breakfast, and I just got done ordering lunch. It's 3 o'clock now, and I'm just going to get around to having lunch. So the chemo caught up with me a little bit. It gave me a little bit of a upset stomach. Now they did, after I puked up that pill, they gave me intravenous anti-vomiting medicine, something called Haldol, which is also used for people who have paranoid schizophrenia. So it's one of those dual-purpose drugs. I don't have to worry about puking, and I don't have to worry about freaking out today, I guess, because I got my Haldol in me. There's that view again, just in case you were wondering. Yes, it's a beautiful day. Did I ever show you can see Mount Hood? Mount Hood is like right there. I'm not going to zoom in on it. There's a big old mountain out there you can see every day too, and this is full of snow. There's people walking up there. So this is going to start catching up on me in a little bit now. This stuff that I took at 11, I really don't feel effect yet. I have been sleeping most of the day, to be honest. I've been laying in bed most of the day, and it's been fine. I mean, comfortable, nice, relaxing. Anything to smooth that stomach down. Also, they had been giving me those stool softeners, and I had quite a bit of poop come out of me today. And hopefully that will be the end of that. As far as, it doesn't slide into diarrhea, it just stays solid like it was. Because last time I was in here, they gave me so much medicine, it switched, and it was very bad news. So that's the status for that. 3 o'clock, I got lunch coming up in a little bit. Gonna have a soup and a light sandwich. And I don't know what I'm gonna do about dinner tonight. The food here is not that bad. I don't know if I mentioned it yet at all, but they do a good job. They overcook things because, they don't want to give you, raw chicken or raw meat, and then have you get salmonella and die in the hospital. So everything's well done. But they do a good job with what they got. And they're all very friendly people when they come up here. Well, maybe I should move on to one of my other UPS stories. This is a doozy. I was working out in the Maclay area, and everyone who's ever done this area knows this dog is there. It's a very vicious dog. Matter of fact, there's 2 dogs there. One's really friendly, the other one's very vicious, and everyone knows they're there. And the guy lives right along the side of the road, but he's got a gate, and the gate's kind of inset from the road, so he can pull into the gate area, unlock his gate, and drive in. Then the house is set probably 400 yards back from the street, so it's quite an expensive property, and the house is way back there. Well, what he wants us to do, and it was in the computer, it's no secret. When you first get there, the very first day was the very first package. You go up there, and I would always honk my horn twice, although that wasn't required. And you leave a note on his gate. Then the next day when you come by, or whoever comes by, uh, there's a trash can there where he left a note. And he signs the back of the note. So what you do is you take the parcel, you put it in the trash can, you take the note and you leave. That way it's a signed delivery. And I guess he does it that way so that he doesn't have stuff stolen from his fence. But anyway, while you're doing this, there's two dogs there. One's friendly and one's going nuts. And the nut one is going nuts. I mean, he's got his hackle up. He's just going crazy on you. And you can tell if he wanted to get a piece of you, he would go to town. He'd give you a run for your money. But I always carried cookies. I always liked giving dogs cookies. So I'd give the friendly one a cookie, and he'd be like, "Hey, okay." He'd have the cookie. And I'd throw the mean one a cookie, and he wouldn't take it. He would just, look at it and then turn back at me and keep on barking. Well, I was making this one delivery, and it was towards the end of the day. It was like 6 o'clock at night. I only had about 10 to 12 stops left because this McClay area was kind of like tended to be the end of the run. Anyway, still a lot of light because it was summertime, I think. And I was wearing shorts. And so I threw the cookie out, and he went to it, but he didn't touch it or anything, just to give me a little space, because that trash can is like right up against the fence, so I have to reach up to the trash can. Now there is a wired fence there, but along the side of the fence, there is this more like a cattle fence that has really big holes. And I knew about those. So I threw the cookie, I opened up the box, I put it in, and I saw him tearing towards me. He came right around the back of the can. He went to the side of the fence where I was standing, and he pushed his head in through the fence. And he was able to push that fence about 1.5 feet towards my leg. And he was able to, just like with the tip of his teeth, just rip the back of my left knee. And he got me real good. He got me good. It was bleeding pretty good. I had paper towels in the car. I immediately went into the car and I called the boss. One of the bosses told him. I think the guy came out because I was still there and he wanted to know what was going on. I'm like, I just got bit by your dog. Don't worry about it. Because, the dog was on his property. The dog was doing his thing. And, I knew the dog was there. So it's my fault the way I look at it. But I packed it in a paper towel just to kind of like stop the bleeding. Got the bleeding stopped. There was skin dangling off of it. So it was pretty gnarly. I called it in. Chuck answered the phone. I said, "Yeah, dude, got bit by a dog. Got bit pretty good. I only got 10 stops left, so I'm going to go ahead and just finish these off, and I'll come back in and, yada, yada, yada." So I finish them in. I get back in the building about 45 minutes or an hour. And Chuck looks at this thing, and he takes a picture of it. And I couldn't see because of the back of my knee. I guess I could look at this picture. But then he sends a picture of it to our boss. I think it was Jim at the time. And Jim says, "Okay, make an accident because Beatty's probably going to have to go to the hospital for this." And I was telling Chuck, I'm like, no, don't worry about it. I'll just pack in Neosporin. I'll keep it wrapped up. It'll be fine. I don't need an accident report on this thing. And they wouldn't hear from it. They went ahead and gave me an accident report. And that was my only accident report at UPS was this dog bite. Of all the trips and falls and slips and, thrown disc and, crunched knees and all the stuff that can happen to you. This one incident was my was my accident, and nothing happened from it. I packed it every day in Neosporin really well. I'd wrap it with some light tape. I would change the tape midday and put more Neosporin on it. And eventually that big hangy thing that was back there kind of just broke off because it was dried skin and came off. And the back of my knee's fine. So I ended up getting a accident report for no reason. Anyway, that's that gnarly dog story. And I see I went really late today, so ta-ta for now. We'll see how we're doing tomorrow.